phone should be charged enough.
I think so.
I have everyone.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The question is, are you ready?
What do you guys want to talk about?
Let me talk to you.
Throwdown Nation, we are live. It is a Wednesday night. We are rolling on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter /X, Facebook, and Twitch. It is episode 102 of the Throwdown, and tonight we are throwing down with a Canadian-based faction. They bill themselves as the largest faction in professional wrestling, and it is hard to argue that. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment of truth. And I'm going to take a second and just let each of you that are live right now take a second and introduce yourselves.
Who's going first?
I'll go first. I am Juicy. I am 10, and all that is man. Max the unbranded bull representing MOT out of Phoenix, Arizona.
Nice. Well, I'm Jordie Taylor. I'm the Impaler. This is the Priestess slave, right of Vancouver, British Columbia.
And over here, I am the Antichrist of Newfoundland Wrestling, Cameron Stevens, and I'm representing Newfoundland, Canada.
The Cadillac of wrestling, baby. The sweetest pimp in the South, Cadillac Jackson. I'm representing West Virginia, USA.
And I'm Coop DeVille. I do the music and I run the Instagram page and Facebook.
Nice, nice. Definitely appreciate you guys taking the time to do this. This is something completely different. Like I was telling you guys, I've never had this many people on simultaneously. I've been curious how it's going to go, but I mean, so far it is a blast. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to pose some questions, and whichever of you feels compelled to answer the question, go for it. It sounds like we just had somebody else join us. Looks like we've got Ian Idle.
Big man.
Hey, Ian Idle, Enforcer,
MOP
Moment of Truth out
Protection.
of Vancouver. What's up, baby?
What's
Nice.
up, bro?
So anyway, we'll start with the first and most obvious question, and this can be for any of you or all of you, and that is, how long have you been wrestling?
I'll take that one. I've been wrestling for 14 years. I've been obsessed with wrestling since I was 5. So I technically started wrestling, backyard wrestling, when I was like 12. So I mean, it's been in my life with me my entire life. Yeah, but I've been wrestling for 14 years officially.
Gotcha.
I've been about 2 in the ring.
I started training when I was about 16. Had my first match when I was 17. Since then, it's been almost 9 years now. 8 and a bit of time.
So I've been wrestling going on 2 years now, but hell, I learned to count by watching people pin each other.
There you go. For me, started training January 2023, and this will be my 2nd year as an active wrestler.
Gotcha.
Myself, I started training January 2024, and I had my official debut 3 months ago.
Nice.
Nice. I've been a wrestling fan since I was 7. So I met Jordie back in 2019. That's kind of how I got into all this.
Gotcha. So, what actually is the history of Moment of Truth? How did it start? How did it come together? And how have you managed to create a faction that is so geographically dispersed?
MOT started in a company called 365 Pro Wrestling. It actually started with 3 people. I was feuding with this guy named Maxwell Benson, who was a greenhorn, who was just coming up, and I formed a group to keep him down. And it started with 3 people. And it's funny, like, I was just sitting with the Priestess one day in bed, and I was like, I'm going to start a group, and I'm going to call it the Moment of Truth, and I'm going to use the lion head. And she didn't think it was going to do anything at the moment, whatever the case. But it's crazy to think what it has branched off into. And like, there was 3 people to start, and at some point we just started adding more people. And like, the companies that I wrestle in Vancouver or in the Lower Mainland in BC, there was 3 or 4 companies that I was regularing, so that I was working regularly. So I decided to make different branches of MOT in those different companies, and then it just started to snowball more and more to people that I knew, and I started asking people. People started recruiting themselves, and like, before we knew it, it had become the largest faction in wrestling and like in the world, and now we just happen to branch off into history. It's crazy what it's turned into.
Awesome. How many members are there in MOT currently?
It's like
Jordie would
56,
know.
I think. I think there's 56 or 57 currently, but there's like 71 or 72 all time.
Wow. That is actually impressive. I mean, that makes the NWO look tiny.
Yeah. It was like 45.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and this is kind of a question for each of you. You know, I'm presuming that all of you have kind of been lifelong wrestling fans, at least to one degree or another. What is each of your earliest wrestling related memories?
Honestly, some of my first memories were watching wrestling. Like when I was a toddler in diapers still, my cousin was babysitting me, putting wrestling on the TV. It's really the first and only interest I've had my entire life.
You know,
My
I think could probably relate to that. If you have older siblings or older cousins or whatnot being practiced on with wrestling moves, like I had an older cousin that was constantly practicing choke slam and whatnot.
when I was about 4 years old, my dad took me to an ECW show, and then afterwards we met the Sandman at the Hooters.
Oh, nice.
Nice, nice.
Nice.
That's pretty cool having your dad take 4-year-old you to an ECW show.
Oh yeah.
My uncle got me into professional wrestling. He would always put it on the TV, so I just got tuned into it at a young age.
Gotcha.
My
So
first
I've got
introduction
a-
was my dad showed me. I can't remember what mania it was, but it was Hogan versus Warrior on tape.
Oh, nice, nice.
I didn't start off as an avid.
My
What's
first
that?
wrestling memory was my dad took me to the Winnipeg Arena, and it was a casket match between the Undertaker and Yokozuna.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was my first wrestling memory.
Yeah, I've been a fan since I was around 11, and I'm 55 now. And my earliest memories as a kid in Florida was watching Florida Championship Wrestling back when Gordon Soley was doing the commentary. And the first feud I remember was Dusty Rhodes and Kevin Sullivan. And when you're 11 years old, Kevin Sullivan was a scary dude. I mean, may he rest in peace. But I mean, the truth of the matter is, the man was a complete sweetheart. But I mean, the gimmick that he was portraying when you're 11 years old, that was some heavy stuff. All the satanic stuff he had going at the time.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyway,
I remember his Dungeon of Doom days.
Oh yeah. So I've got a.
There's always that rule in wrestling, right? Like the worst heels are the best people backstage, and then the baby faces are the worst people backstage because they got them egos. It's funny how that works, right? Kevin Sullivan being a psycho, and then being a sweeper otherwise.
That's funny.
So I've got a question that is actually particular to you, Coupe de Ville.
Yes, sir.
How I love people that manage to dovetail music with wrestling. I'm a hobbyist musician myself. I'm a hobbyist bass player. But so how did you end up being the music guy for this band of ne'er-do-wells?
So in 2019, I went around asking I'd say about 150 guys if they wanted, just some music made. I wasn't going to charge them or anything. I just wanted to know if they wanted music made. Out of all the 150 people, Jordie is the only person that said, "Yeah, man, let's do it."
Very cool. Very cool. I love the theme that you came up with.
Thank you. We got a part 2 coming, and we also got a metal mix coming for it as well.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
So, and this is a question again for each of you. Outside of wrestling, what person inspires you the most and why?
Mm. That's a good one.
So I'll go first.
Wait,
Mine would be I have a 14-year-old son, and when I had him when I was in my early 20s, it definitely changed my life. So every day he inspires me.
In terms of myself, there isn't really a me outside of wrestling. It's kind of like engulfed my entire being since I was 5. But the closest I would say in terms of who inspires me outside of the ring is the person I spend my time with outside of the ring, right? My partner.
There you go.
I would definitely say my daughter, for sure. I just want to lead by good example, you know? That's pretty much, yeah.
I know it's kind of funny to hear, the sappy answers out of all these bad people, but yeah, I'm on the same boat with the rest of them. For me, it's my daughter.
Awesome.
Yeah, for me, it's probably my dad. Well, he's my best friend. He's been here with me through my whole wrestling journey, and well, through all my journeys.
For me, inspiration, like for, like say my character, my personality for that, I'm starting to realize, just thinking about it now, that's my grandpa and an uncle of mine that I'm portraying a lot of my character with. But inspiration for why I do it and everything is just along with everybody else, my family, my kids, my lady. That's what keeps me going.
Nice. For me, my inspiration, is, since I was a little kid, is my grandfather. He was a great man. He was in the military. He owned a bakery and a restaurant for like 30 years. So yeah, he was a great guy.
Nice, nice. Yeah, for me, it would definitely be my wife and my 15-year-old son. They both put up with a lot from me, and I put up with stuff from them. So it's all good. But yeah, man, ultimately, family is all you got. Family and good friends.
Absolutely.
So, tell us, and again, this is one kind of for each of you. Tell us briefly about your favorite match that you have been a part of.
Shit, that's a big one.
That is a tough one, yeah.
Well, I mean, I can go first since I've had 3 matches, so it'll be easy. My debut in Apex Wrestling was an amazing match. I was surrounded by great people. I was in the ring with veterans from all over, and it was amazing. It was amazing, and I had Jordie next to me as my partner, Machete Brown, another member of Moment of Truth, and yeah, I couldn't ask for a better debut. It was a good experience.
It's probably not one of my best matches, but a couple months back, I had a match with Hillbilly Big Joe, and in the middle of the match, we had a dance off, and it was a lot of fun.
Nice.
I had something similar that comes to mind. I was in a rumble for Wrestle Drag a couple months ago, and got in there. I had an exchange with a guy, and then all of a sudden, when the buzzer went off, then another wrestler come out and just start a conga line outside the ring, and I couldn't help myself but roll out and get a part of that. That was fun.
No doubt.
I'd say for me, it would be the match I had in October in St. John's. It was a street fight, and shortly before that event, we lost Vince Austin, and that match was, for me, as close to a tribute match for him as I could do, and I hope he was proud of it.
Yes.
See, I haven't got to do anything but exhibition matches so far. I'm excited to work I think I get to do a strap match pretty soon. I'm pretty excited about that.
I still got the shirt.
Nice.
In terms of myself, I had a match back in 2012. It was me and my two buddies, Daniel Adonis and Jamie Diaz, and it was like our breakout match. And it was a 6-man tag. We were taking on Scotty Mack, who's a Pacific Northwest wrestling legend, Buddy Wayne, who's another legend in himself, and Brutus Beefcake. And it was funny just in the sense that my buddies and I, we were trying to, our new finish was going to be an S3, it was called. It was a sync shooting star press, and all three of us were going to do a shooting star for the first time. And I'd never done one on the top rope, so it was the first time I was ever going to do it. And we went to go do it, and my buddy, Jamie Diaz, bitched out and did a 450 because he didn't want to do the shooting star. So because he went out too far, and I didn't know how to aim my shooting star because I'd never thrown one before, I landed on him in the back of my elbow on his head, and I knocked him out.
Oh.
Thanks.
But it was a great time in the sense that it was like the first time we'd actually like broke through the glass ceiling and got a push, even though we were the buried committee.
Nice.
Nice.
So, Buddy Wayne, that's Nick
I
Wayne's
think
dad,
Mike
isn't
have
it?
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lee. Sorry.
Mine would have to be last November against Kat Von Hees. She was one of the first women I was lucky enough to actually meet in the business, and it just felt like a full circle moment. She's a badass, so yeah, really challenging me, and that was definitely my most memorable so far.
Nice.
So, and again, this is kind of to each of you. I know everybody has them, but what is your biggest in-ring pet peeve?
Shit.
This ought to be interesting.
I'll take the. In terms of my pet peeves, I got a couple. I say pulling up your gear, fixing your hair, fucking slapping, mark ass spots, and doing what's popular. Fuck, I could just keep going.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with
you. Here while you're in the middle of stuff, though, it's nothing worse than that. Like you're in the middle of a fight and you have the cognizance to fix your knee pad. No.
I agree with what Jordie said. One of my biggest pet peeves is one of my big moves is the abdominal stretch, and like when I'm hooking it, people don't like to bend back. If that makes sense, people try to fight me on it.
I'd say either just having shitty gear or when they die on you and they just give you nothing to nothing to work with.
Oh, or I don't know if you guys know who the Cuban Assassin is.
Yeah,
he's retired now, but dude had the worst breath out of anybody I've ever been in the ring with.
Oh, that's great.
What did it smell like?
I think even Ricky Morton went on a podcast and talked about how Cuban Assassin was the stinkiest wrestler he ever met. He was infamous for it. Love him to death, though.
Oh, yeah. So, and again, this is directed at kind of whoever. If you could only be one, would you rather be great in the ring or great on the mic?
I would say great on the mic because it seems like it's easier to train someone to wrestle than it is to talk. So you could become a better wrestler, but if you don't know how to talk, your wrestling doesn't really, sometimes it doesn't mean too much.
That's a tough one. But I'd probably rather be able to talk.
Yeah, I'd agree with Ian on that one.
Yeah, as a fan, I agree with Ian too. Like, I watch wrestlers all the time, but if they can't talk on the mic, I'm not going to be interested.
Like my whole gimmick is talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah. you know
I like to go by like you first.
Oh no, go ahead.
I go by a rule, like if they don't care about you, they're not going to care about what you do. You know what I mean? Like Enzo Amore in WWE in like 2016, whatever it was, he proved not being able to get through full matches without being led by people better than him in the ring. That like you don't have to be completely top notch in the ring if your promos are like high quality. He got the cruiserweight title twice, right? And he wasn't main event level in the ring wise. So it kind of proved that if your personality is enormous, you can kind of bypass most things. But we're like, again, and this can be circumstantial, but if you're in the ring and you're a technical phenom, that's not going to go like it'll go far in certain circumstances, like a Benoit. We're not supposed to bring up his name, whatever the case, or like you know what I mean. People that are like incredible technical workers.
Yeah.
It's not usually the case, but some people can get over with their in-ring stuff. But again, it's not usually what resonates with people because like
look at the
I
Ultimate
can't
Warrior.
resonate with Hurricane Anna or a fucking Canadian Destroyer, but I can resonate with getting punched in the face, or I can resonate with someone being a jerk verbally, you know?
Well, didn't they say Bret Hart could wrestle a broomstick and make him look good?
He could talk, though. That was the difference with him. He could do both.
I know. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. The Hitman could talk for sure.
Look at Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, he was terrible in the ring.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Terrible. He was terrible in the ring.
yeah.
He had 2 moves.
But he could talk.
Oh yeah, that's why he was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So he had enough fire for the whole roster.
But you know the
You know what's crazy is people talk about how they didn't understand Ultimate Warrior's promos, but I could understand them all the time.
So you spoke Warrior. But you know they
But yeah, he was completely terrible.
Yes, very terrible.
The guys that are exceptional both in the ring and on the mic can literally write their own ticket. I mean, you know, because it's a rare thing to be truly exceptional in both categories. And you know, an example of somebody who has put in the work to improve in one area actually is MJF. You know, I mean, he came in with otherworldly skills on the mic. And I mean, he was decent in the ring, but he's actually put in the work and has gotten to where, I mean, at least from a fan's perspective, he's a fairly decent worker at this point. And you know, on the other side of things, there was Will Ospreay, who was amazing in the ring, but when he was in Japan, you rarely really heard him do much talking. And now, you know, he's in AEW and they're letting the guy talk. And, you know, he's put in the work on his mic skills. And, you know, he's great in both areas. And, you know, I just love seeing people advance themselves in those areas, you know, and really improve their craft.
Oh yeah. I think one guy that's really, really stepped up lately is Swerve. That guy is like,
absolutely.
As far as AEW goes.
Yeah.
I think the connotation of Mark gets a bad name, but like realistically, like for myself, when I use the word Mark and people say it's disparaging, whatever the case, I'm the biggest Mark you'll ever meet. I'm such a big Mark that I worked as hard as I could to become as good as possible at the business.
I think everybody has to be
a person
Mark.
like a Will Ospreay or an MJF, like they're such marks, and I don't say that in terms of negative, but they're such marks that they improve in every aspect of their game, right? Like that shows the biggest love for pro wrestling is to like get good at the things you suck at.
Absolutely.
Or to round out
so,
anyway.
So the question I've got next here, and again, this is sort of for all of you. Do you have an all-time favorite match as a fan? a match that you can have watched it a million times and it just never gets old, and there's always some new little something you can pull from it each time you view it.
WrestleMania 12,
In
Brett and
terms of
Sean.
me, not the most technical prowess match, but WrestleMania 17, Austin Rock. In my personal opinion, that's the best match as ever was. Like the most hyped crowd. They didn't even have to do anything really crazy, but they just had the people, you know?
Nice. For me personally, I would have to go Eddie Brock because I was a big Eddie guy then.
It's hard to beat Eddie.
I could watch that match a million times.
A match that I always go back to, mainly just kind of out of nostalgia, because it was probably the first pay. Triple H and Cactus Jack. That street fight, I always go back to go see that. It was just so entertaining for me.
Oh, okay.
Jerry the King Lawler and Terry Funk in an it was no arena or no audience match, and it's just being able to sell that well to no crowd was impressive.
Oh yeah.
Right, they did the pandemic before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Terry Funk
great
was one
match.
of the best ever, too.
Yeah, like
yeah.
at the end of the match, he shoves a wooden plank in Terry Funk's eyes, and you thought he was laying there dying.
I'd say
Yeah.
for me, it was probably Brett versus Austin when they did the double turn.
Mm.
When you had that match, to me is one of the most complete matches you can watch, and I think all of us ingrained in our mind can remember when Austin was bleeding down his face, screaming. So for me, that's a big one.
Brett and Flair had some good matches.
Yeah, absolutely.
I gotta shout out the three-way dance from Barely Legal with Stevie, Sandman, and Funk leading into that match with Funk and Raven where he finally wins the ECW belt. Fuck, that was fantastic.
I'll throw one in. Steamboat and Flair, those guys had some like knockdown battles.
Absolutely. You know, my one of my favorite matches of all time is from 1989. It was a WCW Clash of the Champions. It was an I Quit match between Ric Flair and Terry Funk. And that match, if you haven't seen it, seek it out. It is a master class in storytelling. I mean, just amazingly well done. And yeah, that's definitely probably my favorite. And you know, the subject of Chris Benoit was brought up. Benoit is not a forbidden topic here. I'm a huge Chris Benoit mark. You know, I can separate the man's body of work from the man himself, and I can still appreciate what Chris Benoit could do in the ring. You know, it's a horrible human being, but that does not mean he was not an amazing wrestler. So, just my opinion on Chris.
No, that's facts. He was a terrible human
Completely
being,
agree.
but a great wrestler.
Yep. So, and this is again something for each of you, and this can be present day or past. Who would be a dream opponent? Who would each of you love to have the opportunity to share a ring with?
I think mine would be Gail Kim. I would love to get in the ring with her.
It'd be like looking at a mirror.
You know, I think mine would be Gail Kim too.
For me, it'd be Jeff Hardy. That guy was a hero of mine as a kid, and now that I've taken up the more dark side of things, it'd be nice to put the boots to him.
Ever get the opportunity, Adam.
Oh, in
Copeland.
terms of like just being a mark. Nice, yeah. My term, like being a mark, my favorite wrestler is Billy Gunn, so that'd be the one I'd want to get in the ring with. But in terms of like teach you something, it'd be Shawn Michaels.
Mm.
Nobody could sell like HBK.
For past, I'd probably go with Terry Funk. He was fantastic. I love Funk too.
Yeah, for me it would be Scott Hall.
Ah, the bad guy.
Mhm.
I like.
I can't watch
I'd probably go
Scarface without seeing him.
with- Do you all remember Playboy Buddy Rose?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I was a huge Buddy Rose mark. Him and Adrian Adonis. I like the classic heel style, and they were really creative with their heel work.
That's a name that doesn't get enough appreciation as Adrian Adonis.
Amen.
Yeah.
Oh, for
Agreed.
sure.
Yeah,
He-
for
he-
sure.
uh,
Definitely.
Like the way he would get you to want to make people want to see him get beat up, and then like to the point where the first time the babyface gets a move in, the crowd goes nuts.
Mm-hmm.
See,
His crowd-
unfortunately, a lot of people only know him from when he came to the WWF in the early '80s, and he did all that stuff with Roddy Piper. But when he was teamed with Jesse Ventura as the East-West connection, those two were a force to be reckoned with for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So this is another question that's for all of you, and this will be interesting because we've got a bunch of different people at different time spans in the business. So this is probably going to be all over the place. But the question I'm going to pose is, what hurts right now? Or in some cases, I should ask, what doesn't hurt?
So we're talking injuries now? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
We're just talking physical pain right now.
Yeah, especially
hurt
you.
or
I
are
mean,
we
you got
injured?
14 years.
In terms of physical pain, I've had my fair share, and it sounds crazy. People think I'm crazy when I bring it up, whatever the case. But I've had multiple herniated discs in my back and my neck, and I have one by one popped them back in by myself with no chiropractors. So, like in 2022, I was in a match with the Greenhorn, and he dropped on my head with like a jawbreaker sleeper hold thing, and all my discs had nowhere to go but like that. So they all kind of popped out one by one, and I've been working on them ever since to try and get them back to normal. And I think I have like one or two in the middle of my spine that I have to pop back still. So that part hurts. But aside from that, 14 years, multiple injuries, caved in chest, dislocated knee, broken everything. I feel great.
Awesome. So
I love how he
you're
says, I feel great.
Yeah. So in other words, you're in pretty good shape for the shape you're in.
I feel incredible. Yeah, it's crazy to think. Like I've had so many injuries, but aside from the one disc that I will get out in the next couple months, I got no pain.
Awesome.
I must say I've been pretty lucky injury-wise. I've never had to deal with anything too severe other than the aches and pains that come with the ring.
I have. You ever do it's real old school, but like when you used to knock somebody else out, the ref used to make you wake them up, and we were kind of doing a thing like that. But to wake me up, he slapped the shit out of the back of my neck, and it's still like the skin just hurt.
So another question for each of you is, knowing everything that you know at this point in your life, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Christ.
You're breaking up like crazy, brother. Are you asking what we wanted to tell our younger self? Is that what you said?
Yeah, you're not, you didn't hear that?
No, it was all like.
Yeah, it was a little broken up there.
Yeah. So knowing everything you know at this point in your life, if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Mm.
Don't listen to peer pressure. People will tell
Does
you
it
how they
have-
want you to wrestle, but no one tells you how you're supposed to wrestle. For the fans.
That's a good one.
Invest
Face
in
your
Bitcoin.
fears.
That's a good one.
You know what's funny is talking about like most of the injuries that I have accrued from wrestling is from listening to peer pressure and not doing what I thought I should have done, you know?
Mm.
Absolutely.
I would say keep going. It's going to get better.
Yeah, I was gonna say something along the same lines. Basically, I worried a lot about a lot of things when I was younger, and probably just tell myself to slow down and relax. Things are gonna work out.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, I don't know. Smarten up. Don't make so many stupid choices. I don't know. Other than that,
Don't date girls named Madison.
Duly noted.
love's a good call out.
So this is another question for everybody, and that is, what is each of your favorite move? What is something you just really enjoy doing? And on the flip side of that, is there a move that you either won't do or you would rather not do? And that can be taking or giving.
That's an interesting one.
In terms of moves I love to do, going back to wrestling like a mark, I don't really like to do a lot of moves because I'm a psychology-based wrestler. So there's only one move that I like to do, and it's the earthquake splash. In terms of moves I don't like taking pile drivers or getting turned on my head, because I took a pile driver for one of my best friends in like 2014 onto a chair, and I had a seizure that night. So it's not something I like to do anymore.
Yeah, no.
I like my Samoan drop.
I like the good old Ushi-Garoshi. That one's fun to do.
Yeah, I like throwing a bro kick, like an axe kick.
I like doing the tornado DDT. That one's pretty fun.
Nice. What about you, Coop? Have you taken any bumps?
No. I mean, when I was younger, we used to mess around with, me and my brothers. We'd power bomb each other, rock bottom, Stone Cold Center, all that stuff. But never in a real ring. But I would like to.
One day we'll put you through a table.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've already talked about this, Jordie. I really want to get in there.
Actually, I don't know that it'll ever happen, and at my age, I don't know that I really want it to happen. But I've kind of got a bucket list item of being put through a table. I would like to experience that, I think.
That's
Hey,
interesting.
sure. We'll get a table. We'll bring you, and we'll bring Coop, and we get 2 birds stoned at once.
There we
Right?
go.
I'll take
That'll
like a
work.
choke
The
slam
saying
from
anything can
Ian.
happen in Pro Wrestling Federation is the same for a reason.
I'll let the big man choke slam me through the table.
I work with this guy. They call him. His name is Big Black Carl, and I pop every time the crowd chants BBC.
That's great. That's gold. Oh my goodness.
Oh, that's awesome. So, again, question for everybody. What is your take on the role that social media is playing as a promotional tool in wrestling, specifically indie wrestling?
So social media is freaking huge these days. I'm doing weekly seminars with a you might actually know her. Xena did that. That's her Instagram tag. She has like 400,000 followers, and she's very good at what she does.
Mm-hmm.
So your profiles are very important on how to keep. You want to keep them clean aesthetically. You don't want to do double posts, stuff like that. You want to be very detailed, location, stuff like that. She teaches us about merch, and opening online shop stores, stuff like that too.
I don't see that my social media. It might just be the area I'm in, but I can't
It's
see
your
that my
area.
social media. It doesn't seem to translate well with TikTok.
For me, I've found that my social media has been very good for helping me not only keep the fans in my area up to date on the stories I'm telling, and it's also a great way to plug my merch. Like the show we just had last weekend, I was plugging all my new merchandise, and by the time I left the show, the fans had $400 in my pocket.
Nice.
So I find the ability to promote my stuff anywhere and everywhere I can really does help my bottom line.
Definitely, I agree totally.
I would say social media
Your
is massive.
What'd you say? I couldn't.
I would say social media is massive. Like, there's like the reason why MOT is what it is now is because of social media, right? Like, there's no other reason that it would be as big as it is if it weren't for that. But like,
yeah, totally.
it can be your biggest tool, your greatest, depending on how you want to present yourself.
Most definitely. And he's totally right, though. Social media has helped us grow so much. I mean, if you look at our page, I have a flag of all the countries listed, so it's pretty cool.
Got you. Well, something that we've done in all of these that's just been kind of fun is we've let the current guest pose a question for the next guest. And so my previous guest was a guy, he's actually based here in Georgia. He's actually a deathmatch wrestler by the name of Nathan Mowry. And I told him that you guys were coming on. And the question that he posed is, what is the hardest thing to coordinate in a large, geographically spread out faction?
That's a good question.
Times to meet up.
I mean, like, probably getting all of us in one place at one time. If we were able to do that, we'd take right over, right?
Yeah,
I'd say with all the different areas that we're in, some promoters love the idea of MOT, some don't get it, some don't like it. Just coordinating that kind of thing, and getting MOT on as many shows and brands as humanly possible. I find sometimes there can be a bit of a struggle talking people into it sometimes.
Got you.
So I'm gonna actually start traveling soon. I'm gonna get a camera. I already got a laptop. I'm gonna get Adobe for editing. So hopefully that actually leads to more exposure as well. I want to go perform the MOT anthem as well. So there's ways to still build it. With because social media is cool, but the footwork is really where the work is. Going promotion to promotion.
Got you.
Well, because okay, so when Jordie, this is why I say this, because when Jordie he founded it, my idea as soon as he said it was like, okay, it'd be cool if independent wrestlers could connect through promotions. Say they work here in the States, but they could also connect up to Canada or Mexico or stuff like that.
Absolutely. So another question that was asked by a previous guest, actually another Canadian wrestler by the name of Bad Nanny.
She's in the group.
She's in
Yeah.
Oh, is
MOT.
she?
Yeah.
Oh, is she?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Nice. So the question that she posed is, have you ever done something in the ring that you regretted? And how did you cope with it?
I mean, every time I mess up in the ring, it's something I wish I didn't do and I regret.
Right, but I guess it would be like a real major mess up,
That's a
I think
good
In
one.
terms of
that's what she was.
it led to something really cool, but I was in a 4-way ladder match in 2020, and I had two people. There was two of us laying underneath the ladder. The ladder's longwise over top of us. There's two people over 300 pounds each doing double sentons onto the ladder, and I put my arms out like this, so the ladder is sitting directly on my chest. And as they landed, it caved my sternum in, and I had to pop that out, which took like 4 or 5 months after that. But I had to wrestle, or I continued to wrestle the match with the caved in chest because I didn't want to let the fans go home without a show. But that was a moment that I regret in the moment, I guess. Now that it's healed, I don't care so much, but it did suck.
I've been in with actually another fellow MOT member, Shannon Shaw, before he was in the group. But we did a move and it didn't go so well. Well, I should say I did a move and it didn't go so well, and he ended up with a pretty gnarly concussion. That much I regretted, but fortunately we were able to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, and got me quite a bit of heat out of it from the fans. So I guess all worked out.
Got you.
I don't know that I would say that I have any major regrets, because I feel like making mistakes in the ring is how you grow as a performer. And
I think we lost you there for a second, bud.
oh, sorry.
I think it wasn't
What was the
me.
last thing you heard? Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yep.
we can hear you.
Yeah.
Getting injured in the ring makes you grow.
Sorry, I was getting a phone call. Yeah, I wouldn't say that I regret anything, because making mistakes is how I got to where I am now, performance-wise. There was one promo that, like, in my early days when I was first making promos, I froze. And it was a good 5-6 seconds that I just stood there in silence because I was nervous. But I've grown way past that.
Nice.
In terms
Yeah,
of
myself,
wrestling,
I can't.
you basically failure.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, wrestling, you fail your way into success.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. They say fake it till you make it.
So I actually have I'm not a wrestler, but I actually have had a moment where I actually choked on stage. One of my first shows ever. It was back in 2016. I was terrible, but I learned from it. So yeah, I agree with everybody. Failure leads to success.
So another question for each of you. Do you have any pre-show traditions? Any things that you try to do consistently before you walk through the curtain?
I like to take at least one bump,
I
hit
just
the
like to
rope
jump
a
around.
few times.
Just get the blood flowing, jump around, stretch.
I strut. I do some I strut around the locker room a
One
little
thing I
bit.
like to
So
do right before I hit the curtain.
Go ahead.
One thing I like to do right before I hit the curtain is tell myself that I hate wrestling and why am I doing this? And as
That's
soon as I
funny.
break the curtain, I'm good. But until that moment, fuck this.
Any show I've ever done, I gotta smoke.
You don't wrestle though.
No, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, if I was a wrestler, I probably still would, though.
So I've got a question. How did Bad Nanny end up in Moment of Truth? She was awesome, by the way.
That's all Jordie. He recruited that one.
Yeah, she is amazing.
We went on a massive recruiting campaign.
Yeah, she actually followed Jordie. Is
Yeah,
what
we went on a massive
happened first.
recruiting campaign, and she happened to be one of them. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. Yeah, she's awesome though.
Oh, she is. We had a great time. I mean, you know, to start training at age 47 is just incredibly inspiring. I mean,
have you seen her Instagram?
She's so entertaining.
Yeah. Oh, she's great. She's hysterically funny.
Deadlifting 325.
I know. With the background as a power lifter, you know, that's
okay. I did not know that.
Yeah. She's
so cool. She's very entertaining.
Oh yeah, but apparently she was like a ranked. You know, from what she was telling me, she was a ranked power lifter for years and years before she got into professional wrestling, and she kind of, you know, got into wrestling kind of on a whim, and discovered that it got its hooks into her pretty quick. So.
I like her entrance.
Same thing you say for the Priestess. The Priestess wasn't a wrestling fan when we started dating, and then just being around it, same thing. It just got her hooks. It's got its hooks into her, and now she's hooked.
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, it's funny. My wife is anything but a wrestling fan, but she has watched the majority of these live streams, and she is at the point now where she at least understands now why I'm a fan, which I feel like that's progress. You know, I mean, I don't expect her to ever truly be a fan, but at least she doesn't think I'm some kind of freak now for enjoying the stuff. You know, she actually kind of gets it now. So
my wife hates everything about my gimmick.
We're all.
I can see that, Cadillac. That's funny. I've actually never had a partner who likes wrestling, per se, but my girlfriend now deals with it. I consume anywhere from 10 to 20 hours of wrestling a week. It's probably unhealthy, but I love wrestling.
Yeah, the cool thing about, especially with the rise of the indies, there is so much content, and there's only so many hours a week that you can actually watch wrestling. So but there is just it's an exciting time to be a fan, because there's just so much cool stuff happening in the business,
Oh, yeah.
and we're at a point now, with the current regime in WWE, actually being willing to work with other companies and cooperate and such, that you really are at a point where you feel like just about anything is not out of the realm of possibility. And that's a cool place to be in as a fan and as a worker. There are so many places now for guys to work and hone their craft and actually make money doing this, that it's just such an amazingly cool time. Just in general, the business is white hot, and I just I've never really cared about this, but it's cool to be a wrestling fan again, and that's kind of nice, I guess. At least people
Yeah.
don't give you the stink eye when you say you're a fan. So,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does seem like the business has changed so much since WWE's new ownership and new guys in charge. Even like look at the WWE ID program. Like the fact that there's guys who are endorsed by the WWE and working their way to whether it be LFG or Evolve or wherever they would end up. The fact that there's a clear pathway there is game changing. I'm just going to throw this out there, putting this into the universe. Jordie Taylor should be ID'd. I'm just saying.
Oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. 100%. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. Well, I'll throw it into the universe and it'll happen.
absolutely. Actually, one of my very early guests on the Throwdown is now an ID wrestler, a guy named Sean Legacy. He was on very early, probably within the first 10 or 15 episodes, and he is doing big things on Evolve. So I'm definitely happy for him. I feel like, when you've done enough of these, you sort of get a sense for who has the intangible it factor, and he had it in spades. So it looks like we lost Jordie and Lee.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Hopefully they come back.
Yeah.
As a fan, it's a great time to be a fan of wrestling. All the promotions. I mean, when I was a kid, there was only, you can only watch 2 on TV. Now you got TNA on TV, AEW on TV, WWE on TV, New Japan on TV. So and now Ring of Honor. So
yeah.
it's a really good time.
And then you've got MLW and GCW and and
yeah. I forget about those guys because they're doing so well. You know what I mean? There's so many companies right now that it's crazy, and even the independent companies in the States are growing bigger and bigger because of the explosion, I would say, of the new era. I'm going to call it a new era because we're definitely in a new era of wrestling. It's not the same old era of wrestling that we're used to. This is the new era, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. If I was a wrestler, this would be the best time.
It is. It is. You know, I recently had the owner / founder of Rocky Mountain Pro Wrestling out in Denver, and they are putting on a weekly show on YouTube that is really, really good. You know, I tell anybody, you know, if you're not taking a look at least at Rocky Mountain Pro, you owe it to yourself to do so. They are actually putting on a really good product. So
Colorado in general, they have.
Is Vince Russo still booking there?
What's
Pardon?
that?
Is Vince Russo still booking Rocky Mountain Pro?
Not currently. He kind of comes and goes. When I was talking to Mercury Yaden, who's the owner and founder, Vince stepped away around the end of last year, but he said Vince will probably be back sometime in probably 2026 to work with them again. So I mean, it's sort of an on again, off again type of thing, but yeah, I mean, and they've got D'Lo Brown as their head trainer out there, you know. So I mean, they've definitely got some veterans and a lot of new up and coming talent. So it's definitely a place to keep your eye on.
Nice.
Ooh.
You busted out. I was wondering if you were gonna bust out the belt, bro.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, he got that made. When'd you get that made?
Oh, geez. I would say I got this bad boy made. I'd say it was ready for the October show, but yeah. So I got some of the flags we got represented. We got the question mark for parts unknown, Canada to UK to US, Belgium, Philippines, and I got the 4 truths on the side plates.
Nice. We just need Ghana.
Well, one thing I'll say is, you know, several years ago, I guess this would have been around 2019. My wife and son and I, you know, kind of in conjunction with my wife's family, ended up taking an Alaska cruise, and we actually ended up in Vancouver. So I didn't really see a whole lot of the city, but what we saw was very nice. So definitely have a soft spot for Vancouver.
Yeah, it's definitely a beautiful place to be.
Is.
I went down there for War Games, actually. My girlfriend and I, she got me tickets for the 2 of us for my birthday, and we ended up going down for the pay-per-view. And I kept saying, if Newfoundland had their shit together, this is what it would look like. But
So before we wrap this up, do any of you have any upcoming shows or anything at all that you'd like to give some hype to?
Apex Loft.
Yeah, when is April 4th?
April 4th and 5th.
April 4th, we're going to be at Canadian Apex Wrestling at the Hastings Racecourse and Casino, and then April 5th will be Loft Country in Langley, BC. That's where we'll be.
I'll be there as well.
Every Thursday night, I'm on a weekly television taping in Beckley, West Virginia.
Out here in Newfoundland, we got a show at the end of next month in the Kitty Vitty Brewery, and yeah, I'll be selling Polaroids with this bad boy, and shirts, hoodies, body wash, soap, all kinds of good stuff.
You got everything, brother.
Oh
Right?
man, the boys made fun of me at the show. They said, "Man, you got a pharmacy in your on your merch table." I said, "Yeah, well, it sells, so I'll keep it there."
Right. So I don't know exactly when, but I'm gonna do. Like I said, I'm gonna cover a lot of MOT shows pretty soon. I want to do a West Coast thing. I want to do AZ, California, and Washington because we have members in all those states. And then I would like to hit West Virginia because we got Cadillac over there. We got Evil Nate, Black Dahlia. I would love to hit Florida with Vernon Black as well. So there's some other stuff. And then I am working on getting my waiver to get into Canada because I do have a pass. You can't just walk into Canada. But once I can get that and I can get into Canada, I'm going to be up in Vancouver, other places.
Nice, nice. Well,
With 50
I'll
some
have
people,
to,
we got shows everywhere coast.
I'll have to open a Georgia chapter.
Do we have anybody in Georgia? I'm trying to think.
We might.
We have so many members.
I'm gonna say, fuck, I should know. I do the graphics.
Yeah, that's why I was asking.
Oh,
You would think I'd know because I run the social media, but there's like so many of us. I don't know.
We still got one more
Definitely.
we have yet to introduce. We just brought in last week.
Oh, we got a new member?
Yeah, I added him last week into the group
Oh,
chat.
yeah, you're talking about Dewey. Oh, yeah, Dewey. I forgot about Dewey.
Yeah.
We do got Dewey. Yeah, we got so many members, and it's going to keep growing.
Yeah, I'll be in North Carolina next weekend for the first time. I've got some shows in Virginia and Tennessee coming up as well.
Nice.
Well, Cadillac, if you make it into Georgia, let me know because I'd love to come out and see you.
Absolutely, I'd love to come wrestle down there sometime.
What part of Georgia you in?
I'm actually I live about 30 miles northeast of Atlanta. So I mean, I'm fairly close to the city, but I'm far enough away that I'm away from all the city stuff. I'm kind of on the line where suburbia meets rural.
Nice. My uncle lives in
Coop,
Kanye.
you need to make an MOT song with all this fucking auto-tune.
What's that? I need to do what?
You need to make a song with all this auto-tune.
It could be a great DJ remix.
Yeah, I think having this many people on, I think is definitely playing some havoc with the audio, and I'm sorry about that.
Oh no, it's not your fault. I think it's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many of us, bro. Totally understandable.
I mean, could you imagine if we got all 56 of us? Like,
oh, it would be herding cats.
One day we're all gonna get in a room. No, I'm gonna put that in the universe. One day we're all gonna be in a room.
It's
One
not
day
going to be
one of
long.
us is signed. Then we'll all go to the show we're signed at.
Exactly. There you go.
It's not going to be long before MOT is in triple digits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, like Cam said,
I signed up for this thing. I signed up a month and a half ago for Guinness World Records, but I haven't heard back from them yet. So I'm just waiting for that, and then as soon as it happens, then we'll be world record holding faction.
Nice.
That'll be nice to put on posters. Yeah, a good little logo to put on the posters. Guinness World Record holder right there.
Oh yeah, that's a great trademark to put there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Guys, I want to thank all of you for your time. This has been an absolute blast.
Yeah, it
And
has. Thank you.
you know, at some point, it would actually be fun to get some of you to come back for a one-on-one.
Oh yeah.
So you know, if any of y'all would be down for that, let me know, because and we can schedule something. Because I mean, you know, like I said, this has been great, but it's been a little bit just you know, confusing and such. You know, as far as who's speaking when and all of that good stuff.
We
Oh, I
should have
love
had
the
a raise
dog.
your hand system.
I love the dog.
I'm definitely down to come back on for
We'll come
sure.
back.
I'd
I'm
love
down.
to.
The dog is beautiful.
Is that a dog?
Thank you. This.
Oh, it is a dog.
Yeah.
You say hi.
I didn't know what she was holding.
She got needy and needed some love.
If we're introducing our dogs, I mean,
Yeah.
Let me go get my chihuahua then, I guess.
Yeah.
we're at the dog part of the episode.
Absolutely.
Oh, here we go.
There we go.
Oh, nice.
Here's Miss Tia Marie.
Oh,
She's
no.
old as the hills.
My little chihuahua. My little chihuahua.
Oh, they're so cute.
I don't
That's
got a
hilarious.
dog, but I got a
What
cat.
pets have you here?
Oh,
Stella.
nice. I got a cat too, Ian.
She's
Yeah,
large.
I'm a cat person,
She's
so.
big girl.
Oh, we got one of them too.
Right.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Yeah, this is Lady. She is a Chihuahua miniature pinscher mix,
Nice.
and she's my buddy. So
That's awesome.
This big boy here, that one's Sprocket.
Uh-oh.
And then here's Close.
Uh-oh.
And they're about to give each other shit for getting attention and the other one not. Hey, I'll take you to finish the interview.
nice.
Nice. Well, I'm a lapdog kind of guy, so that's cool. I like that.
Are there 3 Chihuahuas on the go right now?
Three
I think there are.
chihuahuas.
Yeah.
3 chihuahuas.
Yep.
Yeah, I got one too.
Oh,
Oh,
nice.
that's 4 Chihuahuas.
Man, this, you know, Chihuahuas are just awesome. I mean, they really, really are.
Hi. Say hi.
Bro, you're gonna make us turn babyface. We gotta stop with all this animal putovers.
Yeah. We're supposed to be bad guys.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
Finger
funny.
stuck.
If you guys knew Tia, you would know she's the biggest
That's
heel in the room.
Well, you know, Lady actually is a heel. She definitely keeps our other 2 in line, and you know, she rules the house. And if you don't believe it, just ask her.
Fun police.
So my cat, I have a Siamese cat who's 18 years old, and she's
Oh,
always
wow.
had this thing because I always leave for wrestling trips. Sometimes I'd leave for 3-day weekends, whatever the case. But she's had this thing. She's had it for like a decade, where the litter box will be completely clean when I leave, and then she'll hold it and she'll wait till I get home, and then she'll stare me in the eyes while she takes a shit right in front of the litter box to an empty litter box. As soon as I get home, she always does it.
You left me.
That is
So
awesome.
rude. She's a heel.
That is no
That's-
doubt. No
That's a
doubt.
total heel move.
I have pictures of it.
That's great. Oh my
You
goodness.
do.
Oh, that's so good.
But anyway, like I was saying, I completely appreciate each and every one of you. I look forward to staying in touch. And you know, has truly been a blast. And for those of you that have been watching this live, thank you. For those of you that'll be seeing this on replays and such, thank you for that. Do any of you have any final words before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I'd like to plug our social media. The Moment of Truth faction on Instagram, the Moment of Truth on Facebook. We're starting a YouTube channel, so we're gonna have that going on. So there's a lot of stuff going on with MOT.
I always plug my stuff as much as I can. Linktree / Cameron Stevens Wrestles. I'm at Cameron Stevens Wrestles on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. The only thing I'm not that on is Twitter. That one is Cameron Stevens 0. And I got all kinds of new merch with one of my new sponsors, Moonlit Magic. We got a recovery cream called Razor's Balm, and what's this? Beard oil. It's the oil of truth. We got that one, and Whiskey Dick Body Wash.
Whiskey Dick Body Wash.
Love it.
Yeah, shit smells great too. But
Absolutely.
yeah, that's pretty well all I got.
I'm on American Pro Wrestling TV on YouTube. Episodes are posted weekly.
Nice.
So what does Whiskey Dick Body Wash smell like?
Actually, it don't smell too bad. So we use a lot of essential oils into it, and it's kind of got like a vanilla sort of Jack smell. Because actually, Jack Daniels is one of the ingredients. We boil off the alcohol, and yeah.
Nice. Oh yeah, if you're watching, Taylor the Impaler MOT as well. Instagram.
Yeah, that guy right there has the best song in the industry. I don't give a shit what anybody says.
Hey man, I appreciate that. I'm gonna reiterate what Cam said earlier. Jordie 100,000% has the in-ring skills, the promo skills. He has it. He's got it. I've been watching the guy since 2019. It's only a matter of time. He's been making his way up the ladder since then.
The beard wash. I've got that same symbol on my chest. That's crazy.
Thank you, brother.
I love that you wore the coat and the hat, Cadillac.
Yeah. What do you mean? This is
yes.
It's just a Wednesday. You know what I mean?
Right? Hey, that's what I'm talking about.
Hey, I just did a cooking show in full gear, so I get it.
He's living.
Yeah, I love that MOT shirt.
He's Cadillac 24/7.
That's right, baby.
Well, anyway,
Absolutely.
as far as what's coming up here, tomorrow night at 7 p.m., I've got episode 103 with the Rockin' Moroccan Monday Night Mo Malik.
Nice.
And then next Tuesday, the first, I have, who do I have? I've got somebody. I have.
You have a lot of guests.
I do. I've got episode 104 with the Top Shotta Travis Alexander out of California.
Nice.
And then next Wednesday, I've got episode 105 with the Barker of the Bazaar, Ricka Wildley. He's got an interesting gimmick. You know, he's basically a psychotic clown.
Yeah, I know. I've heard of Rika.
Yeah.
I fuck with that.
So anyway,
so in terms of the question you're going to ask the next person you're going to interview, ask them what the most embarrassing thing they don't want to admit to anyone that's happened while wrestling is.
That's a good one.
I shit myself wrestling Red Thunder.
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Anybody else brave enough to answer that?
I got a funny one. That's not my answer, but one time I was watching my buddy wrestle, and there was this guy who shit his pants like 20 seconds into the match, and like actually did. And so the spot was the guy who didn't shit his pants was sitting on his ass on the middle of the mat, and the other guy who did, his move was that he would attack you with his ass while you were sitting, like hit you with the ass in the head, basically. So he basically got an ass full of shit in the face 3 times.
Oh no!
Oh,
My question is why he stayed there for the second
gross.
two.
That's so gross.
Wow.
What the hell?
That's rough.
Wow.
It was disgusting. And they finished the match.
I mean that sort of takes Rikishi to a whole new level.
I was just gonna say that, Matt. That's like Rikishi on steroids.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Oh hey, Matt, congratulations on 1,000 followers. By the way, that was awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Thought that was
Yeah, I
pretty
mean,
cool.
we hit 1,000 followers and 100 episodes at virtually kind of the same point. So that was yeah. It's been fun watching this thing grow. I mean, and it's it's really taken on a life of its own. I mean, at this point, I'm booked basically through the first week of May.
Nice.
So yeah, it's definitely growing and rolling along. So anyway, so like I said, I'll be back tomorrow night. And in the meantime, everybody be good to each other, love each other, and let's just keep throwing down.